courage and, you know, just action or whatever. So it's really good. Are we good?
Sorry.
No?
Could you give your name and outlet?
It's just Chris Miller, generic.
Okay. And we're good, thank you.
All right. So, Alice, for this role, what kind of attracted you to this character? What made you want to take on this role?
I think the fact that she was in this movie with Edgar Allan Poe is definitely, like, the fact that it was a movie about Poe is definitely, like, really cool to me. And then, you know, the fact that she was as strong as him and she was his equal in a world where women weren't really considered equals to the men. I like that she had that strength. And then, you know, I like a challenge, and I like the fact that she had that crazy journey. Yeah, I liked that.
Cool. And did you read a lot of, or any of the books, you know, in your research for the role?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I'd read a couple of his things, and then I definitely read more. There's a lot to read. It's very dense, so I didn't read it all. The book that I really enjoyed as well was Edgar Allan Poe, A Life by Peter Ackroyd, which, if anyone's interested, I really recommend, because it's like a really nice potted history of his life, but it's not too much, and the font isn't too big, you know, small. So, yeah, I enjoyed that. And also just, like, the discussions we'd have about him and what it meant to be, like, a tortured genius and stuff. It was just a cool thing to, like, immerse yourself in.
Yeah, and what do you think of kind of his role? He was kind of like the first mystery writer. You know, like, what did he bring, you know, like, kind of his, like, effect on society is kind of bringing that element. You know, people didn't see stories like that before.
No, absolutely. He was a total groundbreaker. I mean, there was, like, Freud doing it in Germany at the same time, so it was obviously, like, the period of, like, you know, let's look into the darkness of the soul and the subconscious and all that stuff. And I think he wasn't received well. People didn't think he was very good. He was badly reviewed. That's why he'd get drunk and storm offices and throw people's, like, papers back at them and swear at people, and he went to the White House drunk because he was angry because he knew he was good. Because I think if you're that good, then you're tortured by the knowledge that it's taking so much of you, like Van Gogh cutting his ear off, you know, it's taking so much of you that you must be good because you don't exist for anything else. And everyone's like, what's he doing? That crazy guy writing about killing men. But of course, you know, that's what nightmares are made of, and we all have them in our sleep. And then, you know, he was giving credence to that.
Cool. You had a pretty scary scene shooting in the coffin quite a bit.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that process and what you had to go through, and, you know, with the dirt in your face and all that kind of stuff?
I mean, yeah, the dirt was in my face. We kind of took it step by step. There was one moment where I think James got a little carried away and was, like, throwing the dirt in my face, and I was like, I think that's enough dirt. And he's like, oh yeah, sorry. You know, it was kind of a fun process, really. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but apart from there was one moment where I did feel the confinement where all, you know, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 walls were closed to me. And then there was only, you know, 2 shots like that, and that wasn't pleasant. But when there was a side off, or everyone was around, and yeah, I was lying down and, you know, had fake dirt on me, but there was always this, like, feeling that we were making something cool and we were all in it together and we believed in it, and it was nice.
Cool. You also get to wear some amazing costumes in this film.
Yeah.
Did you have any work with the costume designer to work on those, and what was that process?
Loads. We had an amazingly collaborative process, and I enjoyed working with them very much. And, you know, some of the costumes were, my favorite was the pink dress, and I love pink, and they were heavy though. Those women had to carry a lot of weight, which is, I think, the reason for the corset, because that sort of length of fabric and boning and the cage that you wear, it needs a structure to hang off, and it can't just hang off your own back because you bend. So, you know, there's a reason for the corset, but it does get restrictive.
What was it like working with John Cusack in this movie?
It was fantastic working with John. He's a very dynamic, intelligent man, and he really takes the whole project on and, you know, engages with everyone involved and really wants it to push it, you know, pushes it to the end. He's here doing the press, and he really believes in it, and if he does something and gives that to it, he will give all of himself, and so that's kind of honorable, I think.
And then with James as the director, can you talk a little bit about his directing style and what he brought to the project as a director?
He has a very, like, easy, open, affable style where he never wants tensions to get too high, but he keeps it quite calm on set, and he keeps the tone quite serious. I mean, this film was quite serious, so it was hard to not keep it serious. But But yeah, he's always ready to catch the joke. Like, if you throw him a joke, he's always ready to catch it, which is so important on set, because when you're 15 hours in and, you know, to have someone who's like, makes light of something quickly and evens it, then it's nice, because it can get tiring, and it's nice to have human energy to lift you.
And you guys were shooting some pretty extreme locations. What was that like for you?
You mean Serbia and
Yeah,
Hungary?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing to go to Serbia, which was kind of recently bombed by, you know, NATO, and the buildings are still in a state of disarray, and the people talk about the war still. You know, I met this girl who was actually the Prime Minister's assistant, and she was saying, you know, how when it was first declared, the first bomb went off, they all just went out and took ecstasy, and they were like, oh my God, we might as well take it. They were 19, they were like, her, you know, generation, they were like, oh my God, we might as well just take ecstasy and have sex. And they all did that, you know, which is totally different to what my grandma says about when the bombs started falling on London, which was very much a sort of protective, more austere vibe of let's be safe and let's make sure we're fed and let's take care of our own and community. This was much more throw caution to the wind, like new rave, happy, take an E and rave it up.
That's how war should be fought, right?
Yeah.
What was the best thing for you about making this movie?
Working with John and James and Aaron and Trevor and Luke and Oliver and everyone involved in, you know, the behind the scenes was so invested and, you know, so cared, and that's all you want.
Cool. That's all I have. Thank you very much.